Continental Coal lists on London's AIM board today, and we'll be chatting to the company's Chief Executive, Turvey, for details right now. Thanks so much, Don, for joining us from Ermelo this morning. We've got Continental Coal, as I say, listing on AIM today, and this would be your secondary listing. Why the decision to list on the London market? Take us through some of the rationale there.
Thank you. I'm talking here from Ermelo. We've been exposed to the ASX market. They've been good to us. As the company grew from an exploration company into a production company, we believe that the secondary listing on AIM will really give us that exposure into a wider investor base in Europe and also in US as we continue growing this business. We currently have 2 mines in operation, planning to expand and busy building the 3rd mine and the 4th mine by the end of next year.
Well, taking a look at your capital requirements, I mean, you've raised $65 million already ahead of your listing. What are you targeting in terms of capital to be raised via this listing?
We're not requiring any capital, so it's a compliance listing at this point. Our 3rd mine development is fully funded, so we don't need any capital at this point in time.
Okay, so no capital required. Let's take a look at what exactly you're developing with regards to the 3rd mine, because this 3rd mine coming on stream, 18 months after having started your first, so it seems like operations and mining development in South Africa is certainly paying off for the company.
Absolutely. We're planning to start production in the 2nd quarter of 2012, and that will build up to full production toward the end of that year. And we are planning to export 500,000 tons per annum from that mine.
Taking a look at your production, the pace of growth we've seen has certainly been phenomenal. As I say, 3 mines coming on stream within an 18-month period. What lifespan are we looking at here?
This 3rd mine will have a lifespan in excess of 10 years. Our 4th mine will have a lifespan in excess of 30 years. So we're really building a long-term business here. Our 1st mine already have a lifespan in excess of 10 years. So it's a company with a sustainable performance.
Let's take a look at its performance within a certain operating context, because certainly that in South Africa has been highlighted, where you're looking at wage negotiations, industrial action, and that strike season having just ended. Your assessment of the environment in South Africa right now, where we've got cost pressures outside of just labor costs rising at a phenomenal pace.
Obviously, as a company, we've done very well. We've been through all this turmoil with quarter-on-quarter improvements in our output. We've managed to contain our cost, and I believe we set to achieve that. As far as the cost pressures are concerned, we do not have the same exposures that you may have with some of your deep gold mines. We are exposed to the diesel prices and obviously labor. But with our productivity improvements that we're planning, we're very well placed to deal with that.
Of course, it's one thing getting the stuff out of the ground, another thing exporting it as well. And, that has been one of the challenges for players within this space, in that infrastructure that is supportive of getting, getting coal outside of the South African borders has been a challenge with railways, for example, proving to be quite a constraint. What's your assessment of that situation and the infrastructure constraints right now?
Look, we've proven that it's possible to export, and we've maintained our profile and meet our targets. We're very well placed here in Ermelo. We're really at the hub of where the railway line gets together, and we've been very successful in securing our slice of that infrastructure and the rail down to Richards Bay.
With that being said, what kind of market are you catering to if we're putting a local versus export market under the radar here? I mean, what split are we looking at in those regards?
We're supplying both the domestic market and the export market, and both markets are very key for us, and it's also due to our quality of our coal. At our Vlakvarkfontein mine, we supplied the domestic market, mainly Seckam, and we've secured longer-term arrangements with them. And also, from this mine that I'm standing right now, we're supplying the export market, and you know, both markets are very key for us.
What about beyond South Africa, Don? I mean, we've got Botswana, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, all having significant underdeveloped coal resources. Are you looking at setting your sights beyond South Africa's borders?
Absolutely. We really have exposure in Botswana. We've got 3 tenements there that we're busy doing exploration work on. A huge exploration target there in excess of 2.5 billion tons. So we should see some results coming out of that towards the end of this year. We're also looking at potential opportunities in East Africa with a focus on the Asian market. So you should see Continental grow beyond South Africa and even beyond Botswana.
Well, certainly development that we'll be keeping an eye on. Thanks so much, Don, for joining us this morning. Don Turvey, Chief Executive of Continental Coal, joining us live from Ermelo this morning.